Hi all, I'm Anna Maria Kochanska, and I have been a digital nomad since 2017. My background is in IT. I work helping the companies with digital transformation, and I also consult on remote work. And recently, I also started helping organization with the strategy on how to bring digital nomads to the countries. And I do public speaking about digital nomadism and remote work. So actually it was this year, I was on the conference in Dubrovnik, Workplace Culture Conference. And then there was a part on that conference about destinations, like different destinations talk about the programs and the ideas they had. And one of the organizers, which is Anna Bogdanovic, she came from Bosnia to talk about that project and the idea for nomads they had in Mostar. And that's how I first heard that there was some idea to bring nomads to the country, and that the program will be organized. And I have been actually traveling the last 3 years through Balkan countries. I have not yet by then visited Bosnia, so it was on my list. It was one that I do wanted to know more. So yeah, that was first contact, and I became curious then. Yeah, so it was already on my list to visit. I already make the contact Anna first. 1 month is also a good time to get to know the destination, as opposed to just few days. I'm also particularly interested in emerging nomad destination more than the established one, because with established one we already know what we're gonna get, and there is also not that much potential, I think, for any change from the individual perspective. But with emerging destination, there is bigger potential for impact from our side, from nomads on the local communities, on the country itself. I also think that generally you get much better deals, in terms of economical value, of course, the life cost, the experience, but everything is much more authentic just because the place is not crowded yet. You don't have any kind of nomad isolated ghettos, so everything will be new. And you also, in this kind of programs, you also have the leading role that will help to shape actually the future, because what else would you like than to be in a situation when the country is actually asking you what we can do better to attract nomads, right? And then you have the chance to give your feedback, to tell them what they have to improve, if anything, and you have the chance to participate in actively creating actually the nomad destination. So for me, nomadism is not only about traveling, but also about making an impact in the countries where I go. I do want to leave something also, because I gained so much from the culture, from the experience, but I also think that as a nomads we have the opportunity, some may even say responsibility, to give back. And that's also a way to give back, to have some impact on local communities, to help them with what they're trying to achieve. So it was actually better than I expected. I didn't really know what to expect because it's a very unknown country. Most people wouldn't even know how to put it on the map, where to put it on the map. So I didn't really know how it would be staying there for a month, how the people are or infrastructure. But it was really, really good experience. People are super welcoming. They are very curious about foreigners and nomads in specific. They really feel they just want you to have as best experience as possible. They really go out of their way, they make that extra step, so you are happy. It's also very authentic, because not only they are not nomad yet, but also not so many adventurous, I would say. So then you don't get that commercial touristic experience, but you go real traveler experience. Then it was also so many things to do there, because many things people are sometimes okay, but what can you do in a small town, right? If it's not a big city, what we gonna do? But there actually is a lot adventure sport and outdoors. Yes, the destination I didn't know before I arrived. So there was literally so many activities we could do every day. And the good thing is, of course, because it's a very affordable country, so all these things you can do at a very good price, especially if there are things that you always wanted to try but you never did, rafting or electrical biking. There is even aerosilk, like climbing, right, zip line, all those things. So that's a good place to go and try because they're very affordable cost. Nature is very beautiful and very diverse, right? You have like the mountains, you have rivers, you have lots of waterfalls for hiking, biking, just being outdoors, camping. That's also an amazing place. Yeah, also we discovered it's actually, they have quite strong wine culture. We didn't know that either, yeah. So very good quality wines and very good cheese. So yeah, lots of surprises. Well, not anything big, but for me, it is a challenge that people smoke inside. It's not only for Bosnia and Herzegovina, that's generally a challenge in Balkans. Like you just still have people smoking in coffees, bars, restaurants, cafes, everywhere. They don't really have like separated areas or places that would forbid smoking. Smoking here is a part of tradition, the same way like coffee is. Coffee is like very important thing. They have very good quality coffees. And this, yeah, the smoking is also kind of like, you know, sacred tradition. Probably because of that reason, it's something hard to eliminate, but it's, for me, it is a challenge. And I think for some nomads can be also. Other than that, like with internet, you need to always check, right? I would generally recommend that everywhere, no matter where you are, because even in countries with very developed infrastructure, you can have some challenges maybe if you are in a small town. But here it's better like you always check before you go somewhere with that specific like maybe accommodation provider if the internet is good enough for what you need. And then again, it depends a lot what you need, because not everywhere maybe you can trust that the speed will be good enough. In general, I think it depends a lot on the people, right, on the nomads, what their expectations are, because you have to understand that Balkans is a different world, right, in many ways. Like they have different maybe perception on time, and things just go slower, and you have also come, I would say, with open mind and adapt to what it is. Like not everything maybe here is so predictable in terms of time or how it will be organized or how it will look the way that you maybe would have in West, right? But I think that we as a travelers in general, we just like must be flexible. For me, like the biggest, I would say, highlight is the hospitality of the people, because that was really, really amazing. You know, when I went there, I posted like a picture of me on LinkedIn on the tower of the mosque, like overlooking over the bridge, and that picture was like super popular on LinkedIn, and people started like to write, like people that, you know, total strangers, like in the comments, and they even send me like private messages like, welcome to my country, if you need any help let me know, right? We didn't really need any help because we were very well taken care of by the organizers. But I just felt like everybody, like on every corner, was just like so pending that if I need something, then they just like feel it's just like the moral responsibility made a foreigner welcome in their country. And you know, what can be better than being so welcome in a place where you are? Like when I think about that in Mexico, someone wrote on the wall like, nomads, go to your country. But you can be in countries where people just like are so welcoming and so happy that you are there, and they just ask you like all the time what we can do better to make your experience even more positive. It's just life-changing, I would say. For me, it's a big factor to go to places where people really want you to be. Generally, yes, but I would make that question maybe more specific, because the question really should be for what group of nomads Bosnia and Herzegovina is the best place, right? Because we always talk in terms of destinations like, is it a good place for nomads or are there any other better? But the question is really for what kind of nomads, right? Because we are becoming such a big group, maybe like 5 or 10 years ago, not really, but like now, we are becoming such a big group, and like often the only thing in common, you know, that I have with other nomads is just we work remotely. But other than that, we may have like very different tastes, very different needs, very different experience, right? So then I do think that we need to focus more, like both from nomad perspective, we have to be like more specific and say exactly what we look for when we go for a new destination. And then from a country or organization perspective, I also think like they have to be more specialized. Like for instance, they should market to a specific subgroup of nomads, right? And then you get that can meet their needs better. And for instance, with Bosnia and Herzegovina case, I do think that this is the best destination for like young people that like adventure, right? Probably single, but usually young, that like sport and adventure activities, that like to be outdoors. And perhaps the crowd more similar to Bansko, but maybe not the crowd that usually would go to Chiang Mai or Playa del Carmen, because I think those people look for different things. And then of course they can also go, but the most happy will be the one that looks for those kind of things that Bosnia excels at, right? There is that.